Hi, this is Grace Power with Vidazzle.com, and today I'm just going to demonstrate how to sugar your upper lip with using the paste method, the strip method. So my sugar is melted down a little bit more just to make it more of a honey kind of consistency. So that's more warmer than what you would use if you were trying to do like the paste method where you roll it on, roll it off. This goes on a little bit thinner, and for people who are used to waxing, this is a good way to transition into using the sugar and getting a sense of the product and just feeling the difference of sugar removal, like how different it feels when you take off the sugar compared to wax. It just leaves your skin feeling more smooth, soft, less irritated. It doesn't hurt as bad when you pull the strip off. It doesn't have as much of a sting. And in some ways it's similar to hard wax, but I think it's even more gentle than hard wax is. Especially much less inflammation because it's not as hot as wax, so you're going to have way less inflammation. So I also wanted to use the big strips today. So this is, if you cut your big strip like this is the size the strips usually come in, and you cut it into fourths, you're going to get a size this big. And this covers like the entire upper lip, so it really saves you time compared to doing littler sections. So to take off the sugar, you want to stretch your lip out too and use your teeth to kind of push against the skin so the skin's extra tight. So I'm just going to do it now. I can't talk and do it at the same time. Okay. I'm actually going to reapply this piece. I see some hairs that got missed. Press it in, and now I'm going to pull up against the hair. Okay. Fold that up, then I use the clean side just to try to get a little bit more of that sugar residue off. Okay, it tastes really good if you get it on your lips. Okay, so now since I dabbed that with a wet washcloth, I want to make sure to dry it too, because the water will interfere with the sugaring. If you're sweating on your upper lip too, you want to wash the sweat off. And usually I put a little bit of powder on the skin to protect it, but I ran out of it, so I don't have any today. And I'm doing okay without it, but it does kind of help give just a little layer of protection and makes it hurt a little bit less, usually with a little bit of powder. And and it absorbs the sweat if you are sweaty. Okay, so just take your time putting it on because you kind of want to let the sugar sit for a little bit, so that's why I'm not rushing. Just kind of blending it in, just taking my time. Let the sugar work for you. So now this is a fresh, clean strip. Put it over. Pull the skin, kind of use your teeth to hold the skin tight. Stretch your mouth out. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to put this strip back over and just press it in and then pull it the other way. Okay. So most of the hair is gone, but there is a little bit of hair right in this middle part that I still see there. So I'm actually going to try to go a little, I'm actually going to apply it against the hair a little bit here. And I'm stretching the skin out too. Just to, usually it'll be a little more effective if you stretch the skin out while you're putting it on. So I ran out of my little strip, so I'm going to cut a little bit more strip here. Okay. Take it off that way. Now take it off this way. Maybe I'll even try going up with it and going down with it. That's looking really good. Now when I look up super close, I do see a little bit of fuzz going on, so actually maybe I'll clean off the skin again. And you know, I'll actually do a little bit inside my nostril, just to show that aspect as well. You don't want to go too far in with the sugar, but just kind of get those little bit of hairs on the outside, kind of poking out of the nose. Now I'm going with the hair growth as I'm applying it, just to see if I might have a little more effectiveness on those remaining hairs. Now again, if your lip is really tender at this point, you could just go ahead and tweeze those hairs or just leave them for another day. Obviously they're not very noticeable, and it's not worth compromising your skin for just a few little hairs. So use your own discretion when it comes to how much you want to go over the skin in the same day. Usually sugar, I mean, it's definitely more less aggressive than waxing, so usually you can go over the skin more in one time than, like with waxing, it's really supposed to only be like one time going over the skin because it is so much more aggressive. And the upper lip is actually a pretty tender spot. It's one of the more delicate areas of the body, and it's surprising how much hair is actually there, even on a woman. So it sometimes it, like even on me, I have a lot of blonde hair, so it doesn't look like very much hair. But of course, when I remove it, there is quite a bit there. Okay. Worst case, if you miss some in your nose, you can always just use a washcloth and get it out. And there's still just a little bit more in there. There. Okay, so then you just use your wet washcloth, and it feels really good because the water is kind of cool. It feels good on the skin. So even with going over it a few times, you can see that my skin is not very irritated. It's not glowing red. You know, part of that is because the sugar isn't very hot. It's just more like a little bit body temperature, room temperature. And it's just really smooth afterwards. Let me see if I can do a close-up of this. I don't know, the lighting's not very good. But if you can see a close-up of the lip, all hairless.